How's everyone doing tonight? I changed my shirt. I knew I was forgetting something. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, it's back with the tea. Back with the tea. All right. Hope you're all doing well. I hope you enjoyed the show on Wednesday when I finally got to workout with Gev. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna do that again soon too. This next Wednesday, my friend Jonathan will be here. He might be a little bit late, but we're gonna be doing some fun stuff. And basically what we're going to be doing, and I think I may have said this already, but we will be doing, he's going to go through Pilates on any piece of equipment, and I am going to have to figure out how I would do it at home without set equipment, so it's going to be easier for you to follow along. Just on a real quick side note, if you are interested in working with a Pilates instructor, I highly recommend not asking them if they're willing to do it naked. So just put that out there. There's not necessarily something we want to deal with often, but it is sometimes something very weird that we do deal with. So anyway, all right. Well, as you can see, it's clearly getting lighter outside. That's nice. That helps quite a bit. And I am going to be doing some kettlebells here at the beginning. So I'm going to do, first we're going to do a quick little warm up here. Probably walk around like I did the other night. Get my ankles and everything warmed up. Going to do a few kettlebell exercises for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to show you why I love combining both Pilates with kettlebells in this situation and how one helps the other, right? Particularly how the mobility that I get from Pilates and the stability that I get helps with the weight bearing exercises. So, it's just some food for thought. And so I've gotten to the point that I can work out with glasses on, so I'll just keep these on for the warm-up. The funnest part about doing all this stuff is that I keep figuring out new things to do, how to do new things with the equipment. So tonight, if someone follows along, I'll actually hear it. Not often I think about turning the speakers on, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Some neck rolls here. Ooh. I don't think you can hear this on the Yeti, but there's some crunching going on. Let's see if you can hear this. I don't know, but man, it's like cellophane in that bad boy. Alright, come on down, stretch out. Now if you tuned in Monday for the animal flow session, you can see very much how that deep ape that we worked on, ape reach, really helps get ready for kettlebell exercise, or squats I should say, not just kettlebell squats. So if you, like someone wrote in that having a hard time squatting down without their heels coming up, you need better range of motion, I expect you to be here on Monday as well. Alright, I'm going to run through those one more time. Rotating around. 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. intervals here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and reverse. Not the most entertaining warm-up, but a very effective one. Make sure if you're following along, you're not trying to lead by opening your mouth. Don't bring your chin down your chest like that. Just keep the chin closed. Stretch down in here. So generally, I mean, if I were working out completely on my own without going on Twitch, there would be music playing, right? But obviously we don't want to deal with any copyright issues or anything like that. Which means generally, for the most part, whenever I'm here, I have the main song from Zelda playing in my head the whole time. So if you kind of hear me, I don't. Yeah, it's just gonna keep going on and on the whole time. So, all right. Now we're gonna do, what actually we're gonna do is with rotation. So we're gonna get these sides warmed up. As you can see, 3. I like to try to lead that with my knees. Not the best thing in the world. So if I make small movements at first, when I go this way, I think I'm pressing out with that left because it wants to help and come along. And we don't want that to happen. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there's one called, this is called the world's greatest stretch. I don't know if it's really true or not, but I always think it feels great, so I like to do it. It has been hard to get back into a regular weight training routine since we got back from Costa Rica. So being here with you guys helps a lot, so I appreciate you tuning in, hanging out, having fun. All right, I'm gonna grab this 24 kilogram kettlebell here. Now, for this part, if you're at home and you're trying to use a dumbbell, or you only have a dumbbell, you can stand, use a dumbbell, right? As opposed to a kettlebell. I'm just going to do 5 dead stop swings. Here. Alright. So one of my favorite exercises that I used to struggle with, that I love now, is the bench press. And every other exercise we're going to do is for a set. We're going to do 2 bench press on each side. So there's a lot of lat work in here, a lot of core work, and a lot of thoracic rotation. Hence the warming up to the sides. So, oh yeah, if you've never really watched the show, I realize I say the word so a lot, so if you want to turn it into a drinking game, go right ahead. If you're of age, obviously. If not, drink some water. If you're working out, maybe don't play the game, even if you are of age. But every time I say the word soda, you can also drink water. Alright, you're going to do 2 bench press on each side. Come through. Side back. First ones are always a little iffy, but we'll get there. I do not like to swing switch and just go right into it on with this exercise. I always like to make sure I have everything set up. Side rack. My left is always better than my right. Alright. Not really using a timer tonight, just kind of going when I feel it. The next exercise I'm going to do are 5 front squats on each side. Then after this, I'm going to show you the exercises that I like to do on the wonder chair to complement the other exercises that I do with the kettlebell. Because I was very surprised when I found out and realized that using a kettlebell absolutely made my Pilates stronger. And because of the Pilates that I had, made this easier to pick up and learn. And the similarities between the two. Now, one of the things that people love to talk about in Pilates, especially people in classical Pilates, everyone loves to try to butch up these exercises, right? Because generally people know it as something that dancers do or women tend to do. So everyone really likes to pull out, well, Joe was a boxer, and a weightlifter, and a bodybuilder. But then when you ask them how those exercises, like weight training, how that's incorporated, how he would have gotten Pilates out of that, no one can really tell you how they work, right? So I'm not going to sit there and say through any of this that Joe created this exercise because of this type of exercise. I can't tell you why he made this, right? But I can only show you the connections that I made with them. All right, 5 front squats. Doesn't mean they're correct. It's just what works in my brain. And I just realized I'm probably making eye contact with the camera. 5. 3, 4, and 5. Felt good. Haven't done those in a couple of days, so. I used to work with a trainer in Chicago. I just talked about that the other night with Gav. That's how I got involved in kettlebells. Because I wasn't going to get on the treadmill. So I hate the treadmill. And I completely forgot where I was going to go with the story. It might come back to me in a second. But, I remember. So one of the things I was trying to deal with at the time was a bit more sciatic nerve pain. I was riding my bike a lot, and I was in management again, so I was sitting more often. I just had this pain go all the way down my leg. So, drink. One of the things that really helped that pain go away was to strengthen the other glute muscles, like my gluteus maximus and my gluteus medius, so that my piriformis wasn't trying to do everything in the world, get inflamed, and then sit right on top of that sciatic nerve. So, drink. One of the reasons why I still love squats, because getting stronger helps pain go away in more ways than one. All right, bench press. to use a counterbalance or a counterweight with another smaller kettlebell. This is something you can do at home on your own as well. If you don't have a counterweight, if you're not comfortable with this exercise, you don't think you're going to be able to get down and get back up, you can do this in a doorway, alright? So it's like if you have a door jamb, so pretend this is the doorway here, alright? Hold on to that door jamb. On the side, you just come down, go as low as you need to, and then come back up. If that makes sense, right? Alright, just gonna do this. Here, let's use this kettlebell, little 10 kilogrammer. And the weight doesn't make it harder, it actually makes it easier. I can get all the way down to the bottom because I don't feel like I'm going to fall backwards. Alright, a little wobbly on the left, that's right. And back. So again, I don't have a door jam here, but if you got like any kind of TRX at home, or a cross quarter 180 like we have here, highly recommend using those. Pistol squats are amazing, unless obviously you have a guy using the air shoes and maybe, work out your own wrist. Whew. Man. It's doing good. It kind of feels like knocking the rust out of the joints here. Alright. Back to the bench press. And then after the bench press, we're going to do windmills, 3 on each side. Now, I'll probably go back and look at this tape later and be like, oh God, that looked terrible. Can't believe I put that out there, but that's all right. Sometimes, the nice thing about not working directly in front of a mirror is that it feels good enough to be proud of yourself. I think every person can very easily sit there and talk poorly about themselves, so I can do this well, I can do that well. I was talking to my friend the other night, and I've gotten used to my voice. I've gotten used to seeing what I look like working out, because I really actually don't care. But the one thing I found that does bother me still is my own laugh. But that's okay, right? It only happens to other people around. But at the same time, they're gone. It's my laugh, so whatever, I got it. Alright, now with the windmill, I've never done this before. I highly recommend either doing no weight with it or very lightweight with it. But I'm going to clean the kettlebell, I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to turn my feet off to the side. Alright, so I have a little bit of a twist in the body here. And I'm mainly trying to work my quadratus lumborum and my lats and my glutes and my hamstrings, right? So what we're gonna do after we twist, we're gonna try to keep, we're gonna keep 90% of the weight on this back leg. And so it's gonna end up coming back here more. So as you can see, as my arm is here, as I keep coming down, that weight is still gonna be directly above this leg, right? What I don't wanna do is here, because now I'm putting all that weight right in my knee. So one thing that kind of helps get you in this position, and turn my back so you can see, is if you channel your inner RuPaul and you really let that come out, right? So as you get in this position, you take your feet, come on here, make sure you can see my feet. There you go. So you press up, you turn the feet, runway, right? Then you lift it, sachet. And now we hinge back, right? So pull out that inner RuPaul. We all have one. And you're going to make this a very successful exercise for yourself. Runway, sachet. Woo. All right. If you were able to pull out your inner RuPaul and that helped you, let me know. If it made you laugh too much, that's fine too. But here we go. All right. Press, runway, sachet. Oh, there's a blinding light in my eye. Try that again over here. There we go. All right. Whew. Yeah, moving right along here. It's good. I would love to see contestants on RuPaul's Drag Race do windmills. They'd fucking kill that shit. All right. So you can see in a lot of ways doing bent press, windmills. Right? It's not as linear as we normally are when it comes to weight training as we think of it, right? When I do a bent press, I'm going to get up, do a get up, and again, you're going to see there's a lot of thoracic rotation in there, right? Especially on the way up and on the way down. So when we do all of these exercises, obviously we want to make sure that we are preparing our bodies to do these exercises, because you're going to rotate every day of your life, right? People don't come and see me as a Pilates instructor because they hurt themselves picking up something really heavy. You know, they're like, oh, I moved this dresser from one side of the room to the other and I threw my back out. But that can happen every once in a while. But 99% of the time, people say, well, honestly, I reached for something in the back seat and my back locked up. I bent over to pick something up off the ground and I tweaked myself. Well, this is all thoracic rotation, right? So, just something to think about. All right, here we go. Yeah. This is getting heavier. also feel my left knee, when I'm using my right arm, wants to help, much like I was doing the warm-up. So on the next set I do, obviously that's going to be something I'm going to be even more mindful of. I don't think that's happening with my right. It could be, but I'm not really feeling that, so I'm still going to be mindful of that. Alright, we did bent press, squat, bent press, pistol squat, bent press, windmill, bent press. I'm going to do get up. I'm going to do bent press, snatch, bent press, and maybe there. All right. Now, when I do get-ups, I don't windmill that back leg. I turn my whole body. Because these knees they're delicate, and this rubber floor is hard. All right. Now, as I talked about with the get up here, I said there's thoracic rotation. So the style and the way that I do this get up in the beginning, I'm going to turn to you here on the side. As I come up, some people do this and they try to come up as a crunch, right? You can. That is an option. I don't necessarily believe it's the best option, but if that's what you enjoy doing, feel free, have fun. I prefer coming up and rotating to the side. So I'm going to drive off of this leg, drive off this hip, and I'm holding on like I'm holding onto a post in the ground, right? So my lat is plugged in, this is going to be up. And I inhale through my nose, create that intra-abdominal pressure, and then I come here. So now my chest is facing you. So there's some of that rotation and side action as well. Then I come up here, right? So you're not going to see me roll up and then come down, right? Again, if that's the way you can do it. If you want to, go for it. All right. There we go. There's the grip. Now here, this is generally where people turn this back leg. I turn my body, come up, turn the body, slide out, down. All right, and the other side. I'll just face you straight on here. Now, if you're curious what I'm looking at, the whole time I'm looking at my kettlebell in my hand until this moment. Turn my eyes, turn my foot, stand, down, turn my eyes, turn my foot, eyes back to the bell, hinge out, slide the hand out, shift the weight over. I love that exercise. Don't know why, it feels good. I wouldn't say it's necessarily superior to any other lift, but I think we all have ones we enjoy. You know, sometimes we always have ones that we love, fall out of love with, fall back in love with. And if you were listening listen to the conversation on Wednesday with Gav, I've never felt that way about Swan on any piece of equipment in the studio. Never fell in love with it. I've always hated it. It's just the way it goes. But I really love snatches too, so you know, that's a fun dynamic. Well, my train keeps leaving the station, like getting halfway, and just train of thought is just not chugging along tonight. It's all right, but all right, here we go. Back to bench press. Watch this knee, right? Now, notice I'm watchless tonight. I lost my watch, my Fitbit, jumping off of a boat in Costa Rica. So, I am back to an old school watch, right? I really like watches. I really like this watch. I tried ordering a watch from this company called NORD gear, NJORD. Supposedly it's like the smart watch for blue collar workers. And I'm pretty sure they pulled a fast one on me. It's supposed to be here in 3 to 5 business days. And that was on April 23rd, so I'm going to be having a phone call with the bank tomorrow, see if they can help me out. Because I can't get them to return any of my phone calls or my emails. So, do not ever buy from that company. NJORD, complete piece of shit. Pretty sure it's a big scheme. Their website looks absolutely legit. But yeah, just don't do it. They're terrible. Alright, I'm gonna get a little chalk. And just snatches here. Alright. But that fossil, I mean, that thing's like, it's almost an antique at this point. I think it's close to 20 years old. Maybe 17, 18, but still fucking works like a charm. Alright, here we go. Wait. Okay. When working in a small space like this, it's always best to make sure that you're not going to accidentally knock off a sprinkler head where you're doing a snatch. So look above you, make sure you're not standing under a fan or a light or anything. We're good. Alright, here we go. When I'm done right, my hands love them too, but when I'm not done correctly, I'm really glad I'm not a massage therapist because I really enjoy having calluses. Some days you sit there and just rub them. Pick at them. No, don't do that. And then they can bleed, and then you can't train, and then you're bummed. Or you have to wear gloves. mean, my background is in gymnastics and springboard platform diving, so I'm used to doing exercises with no shoes on anyway. But as we talked about on Monday, you have all these nerve receptors in the bottom of your feet that help you make a better connection with the ground. So if you're wearing shoes, even lifting shoes that are completely flat, I've never felt like I got the same stability or the same mindset, as silly as that may sound. So, I'm not saying those things are bad, it's just not for me. Alright, last set of bench presses. We're going to kind of break down some of these exercises and why I think everyone should combine their weight training and their Pilates or their animal flow. But for me, I think you'll see where some of these similarities come into play. Alright, last set of bench press here. Come on, there we go. Yeah. So we did bench press, squat, bench press, pistol squat, bench press, windmill, bench press, get up, bench press, snatch, bench press. So doing 2 at a time doesn't seem like much, but we did these 6 sets of bench press all together, right? Bench press, squat, bench press, pistol squat, bench press, windmill, bench press, get up, bench press, snatch, bench press, yeah. So you're looking at 2 on each side. So 24 bench press all together, 12 on each side. Volume wise, it's quite a bit. That's how I like to work out. Makes the smaller numbers seem bigger. All right. Now, this, if you tuned into this before, you may know this already. But this fine piece of equipment here is called the Wonder Chair. Now, some people think it's called a chair because you sit on it and you press, right? This was, when we talk about Joe Pilates being a genius, this is, I think, in a lot of ways for me, the pinnacle where you talk about having exercise equipment at home. There's a lot of rumors of why he made this. I don't really know. I know I love it, right? So it's called a Wonder Chair because you can have this in your house and it would be an actual chair, right? Let's sit down here. Now the cool thing about this too, if you know anything about Pilates, everything is about the spine, right? Because of this design, you can't slouch. I mean, you could, you feel like you'd have to try, but it automatically brings you right in here. We have one at home. I like to sit in it sometimes, put a pillow behind it. So this really was meant to sit in the corner of your room, use it as an actual chair. Then when it's time to work out, flip it over, attach the springs, and there you go. Now, with something like this, it doesn't necessarily look like you're going to get a lot of use out of it or help with something like this, right? But one of the exercises that I didn't do just now were single leg deadlifts. Now again, I'm not going to sit there and say Joe did these exercises to help these weight. I have no proof of that. That's not at all what I'm trying to say with any of this. This is just how these exercises work for me, how the connections I made between what's been helpful over here, what's been helpful here. One of the exercises that used to be the absolute bane of my existence. Bane, whatever. Anyway, single leg deadlifts. I used to be terrible at them, couldn't balance well, alright? And so my single leg deadlift used to kind of look a little bit like that, alright? And what we want when we do a single leg deadlift is to make sure that when we start here, we have one line from the crown of the head to the heel, right? So I don't want to move this in pieces. We'll try to come up here. So I start, kettlebells here, and I inhale through my nose, create an abdominal pressure, stand up, and down. Stand up, and down. Now, how and what have I done on here to help me get better at that exercise? Well, oddly enough, the one exercise I tell you that I absolutely despise, fucking swan on the wonder chair. Now on the wonder chair though, I will say we have to create a little bit of cushion, so that helps. But in Pilates, one of the things that we like to talk about, not that we like to talk about, but one of the things you may hear us talk about quite often, is what we refer to as the box of the body, right? So the top of the hips to the shoulder. Nice square box, right? So as I do swan, I'm thinking about the box of my body, because my hips are going to be on here. I'm going to turn sideways and show you in a second. And from this angle, as I'm here, you're going to see my legs aren't going to move at first. When I inhale, come up, exhale, come back down. I inhale, come up, and then down. Alright? So that's swan for the most part. That's a very fast version of it. Now, once we get good at doing an exercise called swan, then we would start doing swan dive, right? So swan, again, shoulders over the wrists, heels together. Swan is here. Swan dive is when I start rocking back and forth, right? So my legs really aren't moving too much. For swan dive, I'm going to think about my body going down because I'm lifting the legs, and my legs coming back down because I'm actually lifting the body, keeping the lats plugged in. I'm not going to go through all of everything I'm engaged in here, but as I inhale, I come up, and then to lower back down. Now I actually start to lift the heels, so using the entire posterior chain to come bring this down, and I bend my elbows to lift up higher, and now I start lifting the sternum to lower the legs, and then I lift the sternum to bring the pedal up, and I lift the legs to come back down, and then back up. So, that is a very fast version of showing someone swan dive, right? Then we get into review beats and all that, but that's not what this is related to. So if I take that idea of my body coming up, I'll turn this way, so I can do it even on the other side. When I go to stand up, I'm not just jerking the body up. I'm keeping this straight line. I want this hip to stay down because there, I'm still in the box of my body. If I let the hip open up, I'm now in the rhombus of my body. We don't want that. So as I'm here, I'm not jerking up to lift. I'm creating abdominal pressure, and I very gently start to lift up, and I lift the body to lower the leg, Lost my balance a little bit there, so you saw that. But to come back down, I'm lifting the leg to lower the kettlebell back down to the ground. Up. Lift the leg to come down. So that alone was one of the reasons, one of the things that actually helped connect the dots to improving my single leg deadlift, right? It was just having Pilates in my body and able to make that connection and feeling that if I'm here, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be up, I'm not trying to pull up. When I come down, I'm not reaching down with that shoulder, right? Because I want to keep the box of the body still. The arm's not really reaching or going anywhere. It's staying plugged in. So that's one of the small ways Pilates can help your kettlebell practice, right? Another, one of the things I've been talking about pretty much all night is thoracic rotation. We actually do quite a bit of that on the Wonder Chair. We do a lot of extension, we do a lot of flexion, but spinal rotation is one of the things that you have to have in your body to have a mobile body, right? Earlier, I'm doing bent press. I'm going to show you the side, right? Here, rotate, I come down, that's my bent press. Well, here, we do the very unoriginally named one arm pressing the pedal down. At least that's how this taught to me. Now, interestingly enough, you may see me when I set up for my kettlebell, I do like 1 foot behind, right? I am doing that quite a bit over here as well. That's not necessarily like the rule, that's just my rule. But because I want to grab the middle here, I'm going to get a little bit closer. I'm going to lift this arm up behind me to come down here, right? I'm going to keep my back flat, and I'm not, again, I'm staying within the box of the body. I'm not pressing the pedal down with my arm, I'm pressing down with my obliques. So I'm here, this arm comes up, pedal's about halfway down, and I'm going to rotate and look towards this hand, and untwist. Now you can't see this from the side, but one of the things I'm also making sure not to do is as I'm pressing down, I'm making sure my knees and my hips aren't twisting. So this is all coming from my spine, mainly the thoracic spine, as I twist, all from those obliques. Yes, I have to do the other side, so if I don't, I'll feel really, really awkward. Something's funny. So here, I come down, and I like to look at this hand back here, or look for this hand as I rotate. 2, 3. So, there's that, right? One arm pulling the pedal down. There's another one, and this is called, well, again, I learned this exercise, it's called Barbie. I have been told this is not a classical traditional Pilates exercise. I've been told it is. That part I couldn't tell you. I'm assuming it is. I don't really care because I love it. But, again, the reason why it got called Barbie, I've heard other people refer to it as washerwoman, but I've also heard horseback referred to it as washerwoman, is I am going to lay on my hip so my legs are sideways like so. So I'm going to be here. My bottom leg is kicking out that way. My back leg is going back as far as I can. And I am in here, really plugging this lat in. I'm going to inhale and lift. Exhale, down. I'm lifting just like I was thinking about with Swan earlier, right? I'm inhaling, I'm lifting up with control, pressing my hands into the pedal. Exhale, coming back down.
Now I'm trying to look up at you, but what I really want is a long neck, so it's more here as opposed to here. All right, and down. Turn it sideways so you can see what it looks like on the other side. And out here like so. Legs long. Boop. Here. Down. 2. I can even feel the inner thigh of this bottom leg working for me. And 3. Now, again, I have no way of saying, Joe, got this exercise from this weight training exercise. We know he did a lot of weight training growing up because his father was part of a gym. You can read all about that in Kathy Baker's Track's book, Get to Know Joe Pilates. Highly recommend it. Great pictures from old school weightlifting there. Anyway, but obviously, again, there's your windmill that we were doing, much like we were doing pressing down. The bent press, using those obliques, keeping that everything steady. Barbie, or washerwoman, whatever you want to call it. One of the things that you cannot deny after you start doing kettlebells is how much stronger your inner thighs get, right? There's so many ways we can prove that on here, but one of them is horseback. Now I'm going to try, these pants might be a little bit baggy, but the goal of this exercise, especially on here, is to see light underneath my crotch. So you can go and look, we know you're perverted doing, it's fine. Now we mount, I've been told this how you have to do it every single time. And if not, it doesn't matter, so I can do it anyway. Hands here, off to the side. Now as I'm here, I'm going to come up on my inner thighs. Yeah, see? A little light under there, right? So I'm here, legs long. I'm going to come up nice and high here, and I'm going to keep this C curve in my lower back as I wrap around, squeeze in. I'm going to inhale, press this pedal down, and up. So the pedal, that is all core. This squeezing to keep myself up is all in the thigh. That improved dramatically after kettlebell swings. So there's so many variations and different ways I can say this exercise helps with this exercise helps with that. At no point of doing any kettlebell swings did I think, oh, that's really going to improve my horseback. It was when I came on here and did horseback, I was like, oh, shit, okay, that's actually a lot easier to do now. Because I had the spinal flexion, it was keeping this and staying stable in here. So that's all we're going to go with combining, because I can't. Apparently, I can't talk anymore. That's fine, it happens every single day. I just happen to notice it a lot more on here. So if you have any questions at any point about anything I went over, please feel free to reach out, ask me. You can find me here on Twitch anytime, shoot me a whisper. Sorry, shaking around there. Any social media platform, I am the Pitbull of Pilates, you can find me there. And I will be keeping this on Twitch for a while, but I will also upload this to YouTube, so if you want to come back and look, and rewatch it, it'll be there. And again, the other night I missed it because I hadn't gotten my speakers working correctly with that microphone. So Ryan Snow, thanks for checking us out and following. And I look forward to seeing all you beautiful people on Monday. Yeah, it's Friday. Have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I love you all. Have a great night.